it's basically two parts, right? You're looking at the script and then you're looking at the graphics. And then you're like, okay, I want to make sure that both script and graphics is like credible, right? So in terms of what you need to do, like this with the script, like the facts have to be correct, right? And then like facts have to be correct. And then also what I'm looking at is does it fully answer all the questions the viewer has? AKA, is the viewer satisfied? Right? So these are really like the two things that I'm fixing for. So let me just put this. And then I'll just share this prompt here, this channel load. Okay. I will share this doc review. Okay, share this doc over here so you guys can open it. Right. This is just a prompt that that you can run your stuff through, and it basically, you know, and you can run it through Claude and whatnot, or like ChatGPT or whatever. But basically, what I do, and you know, there's a bunch of stuff that you don't actually need to do here, like thumbnail concept, right? Some of this I use, some of this I don't use. But really, what this does is like it's a script quality control director. If you're like, okay, it's outputted from script agents, but you still want to verify if like everything is good, then you would run it through this prompt, right? Where basically like what I have it do is that it will run like it'll run multiple agents for checking a script, right? It'll look at the strategy, it'll look at like, okay, how good the hook is, the structure and logic, retention and open loops, value and specificity, accuracy and claims auditor, humanization and AI tell editor, sentence level editor. So like this will check for, okay, does it sound like AI? Are the claims accurate? What needs a source? What doesn't need a source? What's like wrong? And then it will spin up like a it'll spin up an entire workflow that basically like goes through all of this, and then it'll give you an audit, right? And so this is like really useful for me to see like, okay, if the script agent is like doing its job or not, and like, okay, if certain claims are like wrong. All right. So generally, when I run this, right, you can obviously make this accuracy and claims auditor like its own thing. But running this is like really useful for me to see like if like the script is actually good, and also if it's factually correct, right? And so like when I run it through this prompt, at least for I've run this, you know, I came up with this a couple of days ago. When I've run this across like 5 different channels, so far it's been like 8.8 out of 10 on like average on all of the scripts. And then it will also recommend like line by line edits if there's like facts that are like specifically wrong and whatnot. And then also like I think we talked about having speaker introductions maybe like 2 weeks ago, right, inside the script. So I also make it mandatory to like add speaker introductions. So I will paste the script that is outputted with this, and then it'll fact check everything. It'll fact check the entire script, and it'll also add recommendations to like, hey, like where can you add more credibility, right? And so with this, I'm like pretty confident, and like and I've tested this with the scripts coming out from the script agent. So far, in terms of research, they seem good to me. Like I haven't had any like big flags in terms of like the research not being accurate. But if you do, like let me know. But when I run it through this, like the research seems accurate in terms of what I'm getting out, right? So but I think running the script through this will give you a lot more confidence as to maybe if you like suspect the script agent isn't giving accurate information, or if you're not sure that the research that you fed it in the first place was accurate, you can run it through something like this. So that's like on the script end. That's what I would do, and I think running your script through an audit, something like this, will also be useful to know whether like, hey, is the viewer satisfied after they have, you know, watched the entire thing, right? Secondly, it's the graphics, right? So in terms of graphics for like credibility, if you have like certain like research papers that you are citing, it will be good to provide those as images inside of the video, right? So I would like in the creation of the video, right? Add research papers or graphics that you want to add that you know will like really complement it, right? So if you are mentioning like, hey, like according to like XYZ study, you want to have a screenshot of that specific study. Maybe you have like the specific lines that you want to talk about, like highlighted, and then you want to feed it, because then that will give the probability of, because when you cite a certain study, maybe the subscriber video like web search pipeline won't be able to find that specific study. But if you already have that specific study in mind, you can go out there, source it, and like feed it, and it's like 100% certainty it will like use those. So that will definitely add credibility when you use the correct graphic. And then also other things like, yeah, like if you have like certain like frameworks that you refer to, and you're like, oh, I already have a graphic like this created, or you have the graphic in a specific way that you want to be created, it's much better to just like take that and then like port it over and like add that in, right? And that will also like help, make the explanation be a lot clearer, rather than like subscriber video kind of like guessing as to what the graphic will look like. Because they're like, really, when you say a certain statistic, there's like 10 different ways that you can illustrate it. There's like bar graph, like pie chart, like all different ways. So like just it being text from like a research paper and then you highlighting it. There's so many different ways to illustrate it. That's kind of like the challenge of putting together graphics like this. And we basically like generate 4 different ways that it can be illustrated, and then we pick the best one. But if you already have one in mind, it's like, oh, like this graphic should look like this and it perfectly illustrates this, then you can generate it on your own. Or if you already have it, you can just plug it in and then it will use that graphic and you can tell exactly where to place it, or it will just make a guess as to where it'll place it, right? Based on the transcript. So like those would be my tips in terms of this. But because if you just break it down into this, it's a lot simpler to see that, like, okay, if the script doesn't have any fake news and like the information is good, then you're good to go. And if the graphics support the script, then it will for sure be credible. If you break it down into like these 2 parts, it's a lot easier to think about it. And yeah, I think the script agent does a really good job at this, from at least the audits that I've run of the scripts that have been created. But I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, like I would love to know too. So does that answer your question, Dave?